Carbs are bad, right? But elite athletes eat them every day and perform at the highest level? Yeah, I'm going to talk about 5 nutrition myths that I still hear in the year 2025. Let's hop into it. Myth number 1, carbs are bad. Usually when people say carbs are bad, they're talking about refined carbs. And I think that's a really important distinction to make because we only have 3 macronutrients we eat in everything: carbs, fats, and protein. And personally, I think all 3 belong in a healthy diet. Imagine you're walking into Chipotle and you're going to get a burrito bowl. Okay, your first option is your choice of protein. Let's say you pick chicken. Well, it's not just protein. It's about 67% protein, 33% fat. The same goes with black beans. It's about 66% carbs, but also 24% protein and 10% fat. And the rice is made up of carbs, but also fat and protein. If you cut the carbs out of this meal, not only are you left with kind of a sad bowl of just chicken, but you're also losing the package those carbs come with, which is fiber and vitamins and minerals. These carbohydrates from those whole food sources, they're not bad. The problem is at the end of the line when you pick up that soda, which is 100% carbohydrates, and all of them come from refined sugar. So you're getting no nutritional benefit, just pure extra calories that you don't need. Now, I fully recognize that there's going to be some other people out there who think that all carbohydrates are bad across the board. They might even show up in the comments in this video. The point of this video isn't to dispute that philosophy on nutrition. All I'll say on it is I disagree. I think all the research suggests that carbohydrates have a very good place in a healthy diet. Myth number 2, diet soda is worse than regular soda. This myth to me is really about aspartame. Early rat studies linked aspartame intake to cancer, but the thing is they gave those rats absurdly high doses of aspartame, what would be the equivalent in a human to 40 to 50 cans of soda per day. But the overall body of evidence does not link aspartame to cancer. And in fact, the FDA even approves what is the equivalent of like 15 to 16 cans per day. So once you take that myth out, then you're looking at what the real difference is between diet soda and real soda, and it's just calories. That's the difference. 2 of our biggest health problems are obesity and diabetes, which tells me we have a calorie surplus problem, not an aspartame problem. So if you drink soda, especially daily, I think you should start looking at diet soda as a tool to help you cut out calories. Myth number 3, eggs cause high cholesterol. You might see dietary cholesterol on a nutrition label, especially with eggs, and think, oh my God, that's gonna cause me to have high cholesterol. But thankfully, that is not how it works. I'll link some videos on this. You can listen to the doctors talk about the fine details if you want. Realistically, your cholesterol is determined by genetics and lifestyle. Genetically, you're going to have a baseline level of cholesterol, which your liver produces, and there's generally accepted safe ranges. Poor diet and excess saturated fat and trans fat could very likely raise your cholesterol, but healthy people at a healthy weight, generally your cholesterol is going to be within a safe range. Now, the cholesterol that's in those 1 to 3 eggs that you consume, those are going to make up basically a drop in the bucket of the overall cholesterol that's in your blood pool. So there's going to be a very tiny elevation, and your liver is going to compensate by producing less cholesterol because of it. So for the average person, you eat those eggs, there's going to be no problems with your cholesterol. Now, 20 to 30% of people out there are considered
overabsorbers of cholesterol, and they are the people who are going to correlate with increased cholesterol in the serum.
But these individuals will probably know that, and they might work with a nutritionist or their doctor on how to maintain safe cholesterol levels. But for almost everyone else watching this, eggs are not going to cause high cholesterol. All right, myth number 4, seed oils are bad for you. So here's kind of the main theory I'll break down. Chronic disease has increased over the past century, and so has the consumption of seed oils. So you might look at that correlation and think, that's the answer. Seed oils are causing inflammation, they're causing disease. But that logic kind of falls apart quickly because what about all of the other correlations, like the consumption of processed foods and obesity rates? Well, the cool thing is researchers have already tested seed oils independently, and they're not linked to any inflammation in the body. And in fact, when you rank them against other fat sources, they consistently show neutral or even positive impacts on your health. Now, deep frying in seed oils is a little bit different, especially if you're reusing the same oil. Sounds like that's something you want to stay away from. But now we're getting a little bit out of context because deep frying in any type of oil or fat is not good. I get it. I made this mistake for like 2 years. Every single nutrition label I was reading, I was looking for them seed oils. And I was abandoning food completely because it had them in it. But thankfully, it's not something we have to worry about. The next time you go to grab that bag of chips, make sure you're looking at what matters, which is that calorie count at the top, not the canola oil. All right, myth number 5, the best diet. All right, every few years, there's this new best diet. Intermittent fasting, keto, carnivore, but the research really just doesn't show that. And that's because nutrition studies are notoriously complex, they're expensive, and the amount of long-term information we have is just very limited. But more importantly, humans are all different. You might hop on a keto diet and find that it improves your blood sugar levels, but your friend might hop on the same keto diet and now he's talking to his doctor about high cholesterol problems. But nutrition research does consistently point in the same direction on a few things. And I covered this at length in a previous video if you want to check that out. But it really seems like the bulk of nutrition comes down to 3 things. Stay in energy balance, choose mostly whole foods, and pick any sustainable diet that works for you. And it sounds like if you can stick to that 70-80% of the time, you're doing a great job. And then anything past that is optimizing. And if you're at that point, maybe get your blood tested and then go out, try a new diet for 12 weeks, get your blood tested again. Now you're really fine tuning and figure out truly what diet is the best for your body. But as of the year 2025, the evidence doesn't really support the claim that there's one best diet for all humans. All right, guys, I hope that simplified some things, cleared up some confusion. Share it with a friend, and please check out my last video. Catch you in the next one.